What connects London, Columbus, and a rising star in American soccer? Let's talk Sebastian Berhalter. Hey, I'm Garrett, feeling excited to dive into today's topic.
And I'm Leah, equally pumped to explore this with you all. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
All right, let's set the stage for this one. Today we're digging into Sebastian Berhalter, from a London birth to becoming an American soccer star.
Picture this, a buzzing stadium, scarves up, drums going, and like you can feel the concrete shake under your feet. My first MLS match had that vibe. What stuck with me was how every touch from a good midfielder changes the whole rhythm. That's what made me curious about Sebastian's path through Major League Soccer, how those building blocks shaped the player he is now.
Let's dive right in. Sebastian Matthew Berhalter was born in May 2001 in London, England. He is an American professional soccer player who plays as a midfielder, the engine room between defense and attack, linking play and often controlling tempo. He plays for Vancouver Whitecaps FC, the Major League Soccer club based in Vancouver, Canada, and he's a member of the United States men's national team, often shortened to USMNT.
His development arc is very MLS. He came up through the Columbus Crew Academy starting in 2014, and he also had a formative stint at Hammarby IF in Sweden. Hammarby IF is a Stockholm club with a strong youth setup, and that gave him early exposure to European training methods. Before turning pro, he played college soccer at the University of North Carolina in 2019. UNC is a powerhouse program in the NCAA, which is the college sports system in the United States.
All right, let's roll on with the story behind the story. Sebastian was literally born into a soccer family. His dad is Greg Berhalter, who played and coached professionally, including a stint with Crystal Palace in England and roles later in the United States. His mom, Rosalind, known as Roz, starred for the North Carolina Tar Heels and won 4 national championships. That's pretty cool, right? When your dinner table conversation is game IQ and team culture, it sticks.
And the London detail is a fun twist. Even though he was born there during his dad's time with Crystal Palace, Sebastian grew up in Columbus, Ohio. By 2014, he was in the Columbus Crew Academy, where he stacked up 103 youth appearances and scored 11 goals. That level of repetition builds decision-making. It's like learning the cello for me. Scales are not glamorous, but they make you listen and respond fast in performance.
Yeah, that checks out. He signed as a homegrown player with Columbus in January 2020. Homegrown player in MLS means a club can sign someone directly from its own academy to the first team, which helps clubs invest in local development. It's a pathway that rewards long-term work with the youth sides.
He made his professional debut in July 2020 at the MLS is Back tournament in Orlando. That tournament was a special setup to restart the season, and get this, he collected a major trophy in his first year. Columbus won MLS Cup in 2020. Not gonna lie, that's a dream start, even if you're a depth piece finding your footing.
Speaking of which, 2021 was about minutes. He went on loan to Austin FC, which is a club in MLS that launched in 2021. A loan is a temporary move to another team, and it's great for playing time. He debuted for Austin in April 2021 in a 3-1 win over Colorado Rapids. Later that year, Austin declined his option and he returned to Columbus, which set up the next move that really changed his trajectory.
In February 2022, he was traded to Vancouver Whitecaps FC. The fee was $50,000 in general allocation money, with another $50,000 conditional. General allocation money, or GAM, is basically MLS budget currency teams can trade or use to reduce salary cap charges. It sounds like monopoly money, but it's very real inside MLS roster rules.
And that relatively modest fee looks like a bargain in hindsight. In 2022, he made 18 MLS appearances for Vancouver and even kept sharp with 1 game for Whitecaps FC 2, their reserve side in MLS Next Pro. He won the Canadian Championship that season too. The Canadian Championship is Canada's national cup. The winner gets a spot in continental competition. That's a big door to open.
Then, the minutes really climbed. In 2023, he logged 37 appearances across all competitions and scored 2 goals, with another Canadian championship in the bag. In 2024, he made 45 appearances, posted 6 assists, and scored 3 goals. That's consistency across league, cup, and continental matches, which says a lot about durability and adaptability.
2025 was a breakout. He made 33 appearances, scored 4 goals, and led Vancouver with 12 assists. Assists are the final pass before a goal. Leading a team in that metric is huge for a midfielder. He was named to the MLS Best 5, which is the league's annual team of the season, and played in the MLS All-Star game in July against the Liga MX All-Stars. MLS won 3-1. That's a stage where casual fans tune in, which boosts a player's profile.
Internationally, 2025 opened the door for him too. He got his first senior call-up in May 2025. He debuted that year at the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is the main tournament for national teams in North and Central America and the Caribbean. And in November 2025, he scored his first international goal in a 5-1 win over Uruguay at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. That's a memory maker.
Then came 2026. He made the United States 26-man roster for the FIFA World Cup, announced in May 2026. In June 2026 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, he had a goal and an assist against Turkey in a 3-2 group stage loss. Even in defeat, that's a world stage highlight. By the end of 2026, he had 16 caps and 2 goals for the national team. Caps just means appearances.
Back to club form in 2026. He made 14 MLS appearances and scored 6 goals, plus 4 continental appearances with 1 more goal. 18 total matches and 7 total goals is a strong strike rate for a midfielder. Cumulatively, by the end of 2026, he tallied 167 appearances and 20 goals for Vancouver across all competitions, and 195 appearances with 20 goals across his entire club career.
And don't forget the silverware streak. The Canadian Championship titles came in 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025 with Vancouver. Plus that 2020 MLS Cup with Columbus. Titles create a competitive backbone. You learn how to handle knockout pressure and quick turnarounds between matches.
Can I ask a simple why here? Why do you think the Vancouver move worked so well, especially given the small trade fee compared to his later impact?
I think it's fit plus opportunity. Vancouver identified underused potential and gave him consistent minutes across league and cup. The system asked for a connector who can switch play, press smartly, and feed runners. That's his lane. And once you stack 37 games in 2023 and 45 in 2024, rhythm and confidence spike. Then the assists in 2025 show up, and boom, recognition follows.
Okay, let's move on to a tricky note about the national team call-up in 2025. The source we have credits Mauricio Pochettino as the United States coach who called him in May 2025. For anyone unfamiliar, Pochettino is a high-profile Argentine coach known for stints at clubs like Tottenham Hotspur and Paris Saint-Germain. Here's the thing. That detail is flagged as disputed and needs verification against official releases and match documentation.
Yeah, and that's worth pausing on. Accurate attribution matters. Coaching appointments are major news, and they shape how we interpret a player's path. If the call came from a different coach, it changes the narrative about who believed in him first at the senior level. I'm down for that careful check. It keeps the record clean and fair to everyone involved.
Real talk. Do you think the coach's identity, whoever it was, meaningfully changes his development, or is it more about the timing plus his club form forcing the door open?
I'd say timing plus club form are the foundation, but the coach matters in role definition. One manager might see him as a holding midfielder who screens the back line. Another might push him higher to create and press. If you get the second scenario and you're already stacking assists in Vancouver, that alignment can fast-track your international impact.
Totally. And just to close the loop on accuracy, this is why cross-checking is essential in sports reporting. Details like who called a player up can ripple into how fans, analysts, and even future coaches evaluate that player's story. It's a thread worth pulling on, but with receipts.
While we're on a roll, let's hit the pop culture angle. The 2025 MLS All-Star Game against the Liga MX All-Stars is a marquee event with a big broadcast footprint. Sebastian's selection there, during a season when he led Vancouver in assists and made the MLS Best X9, gave him a spotlight beyond hardcore MLS circles. That's one for the memory bank.
All right, on to the next. Counterfactual time. What if Sebastian had stayed with Austin FC after 2021 instead of moving to Vancouver? Austin was building its identity in those early seasons. In that scenario, maybe he fights for minutes in a crowded midfield. If his role is more rotational, the assist totals might not pop in 2025, and the national team call-up could arrive later. That's not a knock, just how opportunity windows open and close.
I could get behind that idea, and I'll add this. The Vancouver move came with that modest GAM outlay. When a club invests smartly and clearly has a plan for you, you feel trusted. Confidence is a performance enhancer. If he stayed in Austin without that same runway, he might become a valuable squad piece, but maybe he doesn't hit 12 assists in 2025 or snag MLS Best XI. Wild how that works out.
And what about international play in the what-if world? If the club platform is smaller, the World Cup roster in 2026 might be a tougher hill to climb. He still has talent and the soccer brain from that family background, but without the Vancouver minutes and Canadian championship runs, the spotlight dims a bit. Maybe his breakout shifts to 2027 or beyond.
Stay curious and keep exploring, everyone.
Thanks for joining us, and see you next time on Laid Back Learning.